for the gates of Orgrimmar. We are prepared for this battle as best we can. I pray that we all survive what is to come. Begin the battle at the gates of Orgrimmar, mama.
Victory in the light.
Is it right here? This is the cinematic. This is the 6 minutes? This is the 6 minutes then. This is the big one. Yep. Yes. Okay. Do it. All right. Let's see. Monka Shake. Hold me, Dad. Yes, it is time. We ready. Finally. Let's preemptively swap scenes. So we can all do this together. Let me turn up my game sounds. My body is ready. It's time. We're ready. Finally. Yeah, we can get some final honors in chat. Or some final pups. Either one works. It's a good emote combination. Okie dokie then. Okay. For the Alliance indeed, my king. All right. Ah. That's the decrypt sequence. Oh. Unreal Engine?
Varrock.
Looks so sad.
It's time.
Those who defend Orgrimmar are Horde as well. Our brothers and sisters.
These warriors have sworn to fight. For you. Many lives will be lost.
Or perhaps just one. Sylvanas Windrunner! I challenge Makora!
I don't have goosebumps. You have goosebumps.
A traitor leading traitors. Why should I accept your challenge?
You want to make me suffer.
Brother, you cannot win.
My old friend. You and I.
We don't get to hide.
I set you on this path.
And we knew where it could lead. Walk with me. The rest of the way.
No way. Okay, that's amazing. Holy crap. It's so tiny in his hands to look at it. Oh, Charlemagne.
Let it be finished.
The High Overlord falls. I trusted you. And so did they. Death comes, old soldier. And all their hope dies with you.
Protect him.
You cannot kill hope. You tried at Teldrassil. You failed. Hope remains. You set us to kill each other at Lordaeron. You failed. Here we stand. You just keep failing. The Horde will endure. The Horde is strong.
The Horde is nothing! You are all nothing!
For Azeroth!
If you could see yourselves as I see you. Toy soldiers in tin plate. Beasts who howl for honor. Standing as one. Savor it. Nothing lasts.
What do we do now?
We bring him home.
Let me wrap up the quest before we talk about the cinematic itself. A long
road lies before us.
Saurfang, he gave his life so our soldiers wouldn't lose theirs. None of us anticipated he would challenge Sylvanas directly, but perhaps she did. Jaina shakes her head. It does us no good to debate whether this was part of her plan or if she merely took advantage of an opportunity. We must be on our guard against her schemes. Saurfang won his final battle. I do not know what will become of the Horde, but I have to hope they will find a new path to follow. Saurfang, how could this have happened? Jaina takes a moment to compose herself. The Alliance has known High Overlord Saurfang as both a sworn enemy and an invaluable ally. Anduin will want to honor his memory, recall our forces, and inform them of what has happened. Gen's soldiers were dispatched to the Western Gate. We should be able to find him there.
We all have our goals. Regent Lord, what manner of magic did Sylvanas use against Saurfang?
I had hoped either you or Thalyssra would have the answer to that question. I have never seen her wield such power.
It was unlike any magic I have ever encountered. I could sense none of it, even in her presence.
And she must have only recently acquired it, or simply waited until now to reveal it.
Either way, it does not bode well for us. Whatever she is planning, she no longer needs the Horde to achieve it.
Okay, then. Yeah, literally the light of Charlemagne versus the void of Sylvanas. Yeah, so I have the cinematic pulled up here again. Hold on. So... the cinematography of this is all really simple. Nothing incredibly stuck out to me because it's definitely a character-driven piece that is, instead of animating an entire war cinematic scene, it is just very, very simply driven. These scenes like this are ridiculous. My joke about how Unreal Engine is definitely on point here. This looks insane. But I think this may also be a similar version of what we've seen of Orgrimmar before. But the whole point that Varrock makes here at the beginning about how the Horde here, I don't know, it's a weird story beat because they're not the same. They're all mostly, I think it's all Forsaken. And yes, they have been part of the Horde for all this time, but the Forsaken have always been sort of like, not turncoaty, but not the same loyal back end as, say, some of the pinnacle Horde races, the orcs, the trolls, the Tauren, maybe some of the goblins that aren't just goblins for greed, but I don't know, maybe some of the Forsaken as well. The Forsaken are this weird plot point. I think it'd be different if I saw other members, because see this whole sequence where he's just looking up at the ramparts. That pucker right there when he pulls his lips up, I mean, that almost has sort of that air of crying. You know when you cry and your bottom lip pulls up? I mean, we all know. Unless you've never cried before. Too manly for me. But that his chin, that push up, and right there you get Big Daddy Chris Metzen coming in as Thrall to reassure his old friend. Dang, dang, dang. Yeah, they've had their own separate agenda, and it was convenient to be with the Horde so they wouldn't get wiped out. Yeah, the bulldog look. He looks so remorseful. Yeah. Mirrors the old soldier positioning, battlefields and the battlements. Yeah, but he is not in Undercity at this point. So, yeah, this is the Orgrimmar intro music in the background. Yep, just a twinge of it.
Varrock, it's time.
Yeah, see, this line, I can't make out anything other than just Forsaken. And that's the weird part about this follow-up line. I mean, I get what he means because they are still Horde too, and they've got Horde banners, and but they've got also the Forsaken banners all over the place here too. But I don't see any other models. I don't see any trolls or orcs or Tauren up here. I know a lot of the whole Dark Ranger stuff is very much that the archer part of the Horde have been very, very Forsaken forward. Also, this scene right here, the metal rendering and stuff that is on here, this has a very Black Gate of Mordor feel from this angle. I don't know if anyone else got that, but this... I don't know if I have the right shot from the film, but I can, because obviously it's a bigature from the movie. But this sequence here, I mean, it doesn't have the same aesthetic, but this is the Black Gate of Mordor, right, from the film. This is a bigature. This is actually a scale model used and superimposed and spliced into the model itself. It's not a 3D animated thing. The actual model is a full realistic thing, but I'm mostly saying, like, the way they did the silver and the metal sheening and the way it looks beaten together, it has that very similar feel that the binding pieces have, these ridges here. So I wonder if some of the modelers took sort of how they make these spikes and looked back at what Lord of the Rings did, because I got that feel from these spikes, these metal pieces that are sticking out on top, which is definitely, it looks amazing, but the Black Gate of Mordor obviously has a very different overall aesthetical feel compared to this. But just that clink of that metal, that tactile metal feel there is very much what I thought of immediately when I saw this, for sure. But
Those who defend Orgrimmar are Horde as well.
I mean, yeah, I get that. I know what he's meaning, and he's just sad overall at the state of what's become of all this whole thing. But it's so funny to me that there isn't more animosity between the Orcish Horde or the Horde or whatever the player character Horde feels like compared to just like the Forsaken, which is basically all what's here and all what Sylvanas ultimately in this cinematic turns her back on by like, peace out, I'm gone. So, but I mean, there's the animation on their faces. I mean, I've said this before multiple times, and I talked to Mark about this. I actually sat down with Mark Messenger, which I assume he still directed this and isn't involved in these the same way he was involved in the previous ones. But Mark Messenger has been involved with the Blizzard cinematics, with the story and franchise development team since Cataclysm. And if this is still his baby, he's been making all of these cinematics. You can go back and listen to two of us talk. It's the BlizzCon video from last year. I sat down with Terran and did Terror of Darkshore and talked to Mark Messenger, and we did Lost Honor, the one with the in the Stockades with Anduin. But these characters have come a long, long way. So obviously all of these models and everything they've made is being moved forward. Obviously, hero model of Thrall being updated with the Frostwolf pelt. See the Frostwolf puppy behind my head. Actually, you can see the pupper hand here on the Frostwolf. But
Our brothers and sisters.
I don't need to go. I'm not
These
going.
warriors have sworn to fight. For you. Many lives will be lost.
That little like shoulder nod that Thrall had there. He's been here before, obviously. We open with Thrall in Warcraft 3. All of this war stuff in the game has been very much what he is known for so long. For many expansions, because he was War Chief all the way up until... Was he War Chief into MOP or War Chief through Cataclysm for WoW time? Essentially over a decade plus of our time. End of ICC... So into Cataclysm then. Yeah, into Cata. Yeah. Into Cataclysm. He left Cataclysm because he became the world speaker or whatever kind of deal. The whole shaman stuff with the giant beads around his neck. Yeah. So it was all of vanilla, all of TBC, all of Wrath of the Lich King into Cataclysm when his arc changed. Yeah. Became the Green Man. And now he's just an orc, right? He's just an orc now.
Just one.
The weird thing about it is Thrall, they didn't pick Thrall to react to the Mok'Gara. I think Thrall knows it's coming.
Perhaps just one.
Yeah, I think he knew it was coming.
Sylvanas Windrunner!
I didn't think this was going to happen. I thought we were going to get a giant war battle.
Mok'Gara!
The problem here, again, is this is another Mok'Gara that is still technically not... I don't know, man. I gotta look this up while this plays out.
A traitor.
So, Mok'Gara means Duel of Honor and is an orcish custom whereby someone may challenge another person to individual combat. The ritualistic duel has often been used to obtain a position of leadership, such as a fight for the position of group leader, clan chieftain, war chief of the horde, but not necessarily. Mok'Gara is practiced by the ogre clans as well. So, combat to the death, traditionally. Under Thrall's war chief rule, it became non-lethal combat, though participants can choose to forego this change. This is what I want to look at. The rules. So I'm on Wowpedia right now for the rules. The rules of the Mot Gora seem to be different between each Mot Gora, since they can choose and set by the participants themselves. Generally, there are thus no specific rules. The only constant theme is that the Mot Gora is that the pair must fight to the death or until submission. Magic, for example, has never been stated to be forbidden and has in fact been used in multiple Mot Gora duels and thus seems to be permitted. Similarly, many Mot Gora duels have involved both figures wearing body armor as well, but it can also be forbidden when explicitly required. So one weapon, yeah, Garrosh and Karen was one weapon was allowed. Shigara and Ashra, this is older stuff. One weapon was allowed. Body armor forbidden, but not clothing. Coming to the death. Thrall and Garrosh, they've had multiple Mot Goras. That was the one that was in the Orgrimmar ring or whatever it was. So because everyone brings up Mot Gora and they always cite the Thrall and Garrosh one from Warlords. That Thrall used his shamanistic powers, big green boy right here, reason why he doesn't have them anymore, was because he used his powers against Garrosh. But we obviously see here in this play out, whatever Sylvanas has, this is not just her Banshee powers, this is this extra void or undeath or just death powers that she has. A lot of us think now that is very much a Helia style thing. Yeah, it's definitely similar to the N'Zoth smoke, that is for sure. It's not void, it's death. It has to be death, not void. That's the weird part about it. It looks like, yeah, Xalatath oriented, but Sylvanas embodies that which the void is scared of. Because the void, again, like I've said before, is kind of like the Borg. They are all-consuming, assimilating, twisting, turning, manipulating, controlling. Death is the absence of all of that. Death means nothing, which is weird in terminology because the void is the absence of all things. But in the terminology for World of Warcraft, the void wants to control, contort, distort, and be controlling of all things. They want to assimilate everything, right? And so maybe they can use that in some regard for themselves. And this is where we're at the story point. I guess we're going to have to wait for 9.0 is that Sylvanas is not employing void-based stuff unless she has twisted it to her own, because she is death. She is essentially the aspect of death in this incarnation. Man, does her armor look cool as hell. Also, initial shout out, orcs have a face, right? Obviously. And we've seen orcs in WoW for a while. We've seen orcs in these cinematics. We've seen orcs in the Warcraft movie. The best part of the Warcraft film was the orcs. The humans were all pretty garbage. The orcs, the way they look, the way they talk, the way they feel, the way they act, orcs, okay? But huge, ridiculous, what the heck to Blizzard's team, because making human faces, and obviously we've seen beautiful crying angel boy, weeping boy child, Anduin, but Sylvanas' face in this cinematic and her talking, I really wonder if they actually mocapped finally, but they probably didn't because apparently they just never mocap. It's so good. It's so good. Just the way her lips curl and the way her jaw clenched when she talks to Varrock here. There's so many tiny... Can we talk about how there's like fliff and frill and little hairs and frays breaking on her cowl from use over time? This all has to be made in the 3D models here. Look at all this. There's also stubble on Anduin's face. There's fuzz. There's so many little details they've had to hand... And this is, of course, crushed onto YouTube in 1080p. This is nowhere near as good as the actual resolution is. I would love like a 4K of this if Blizzard ever uploaded one. But this is the render in the game engine, so it actually isn't huge in our file size. But...
Brother, you cannot win.
The faces are so good. But anyway, the whole like void versus death thing is that the void in the comic with the three sisters talks about how the void is scared of Sylvanas. Because if Sylvanas essentially destroys everything, right? The whole like death sweeping everything. If there's nothing for the void to consume, that is not what the void wants. The void wants to consume. So whatever Sylvanas is using here, and going back to the whole Mak-Gara point, is that I think it is totally within the bounds of each duel. Thrall didn't cheat. He used only what is available to him. And there's obviously, unless there's some weird fallout that, oh, Sylvanas cheated, they talked about. That's why I wanted to go to the little wrap up there. And I'm glad that's the story beat that Jaina and Thalyssra and Lor'themar talk about, is the magic she's using is not what she's had before. I think people bring it up because Thrall used his shamanistic powers. He's asking for assistance from the elements and did it for personal gain. Well, where is Sylvanas' power here? I'm going to say, I think that's kind of stuff the community brings up that I don't think matters. It's a 1v1 with whatever each one person can use, right? That's all the Mak-Gara is at the base, unless it's some like official like thing that is laid out with rules and restrictions. If you just challenge someone to a Mak-Gara, it's just you versus them, no outside assistance. It's just whatever the two of you can do. Asking the elements for help, I guess, or bending them to their will. That's something that you still do as a singular entity, so it still works in that regard. So if Sylvanas here has this undeath power stuff from Helia or wherever, whatever she has that's not her just banshee powers, that is still just her individually. It's just her. The turn, by the way, Terran, the turn.
You cannot win.
I also don't know why they set this story up that Vera can't beat Sylvanas. Is it been stated in the Horde campaign or the Horde side that Sylvanas by herself, because they don't know about this power she has until Vera gets one-shot by it. I know she's pretty strong, but I don't know how it's story-driven that all of a sudden Sylvanas is just super powerful all of a sudden. Maybe because he's just old, I guess. Yeah, she had the fight in the bag anyway. He got one lucky hit in. What does it matter if she used 100% power when 50 was enough? I just don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, 1v1 in front of Orgrimmar, how meta. I guess I don't know plot armor. Come on. I guess Sylvanas is basically the first generation Death Knight, a soul put in a body through death magic. Yeah, that's fine. Banshee powers. Yeah, it's basically, well, Sylvanas went from High Elf to Banshee to back in her body to Forsaken, and her Banshee power stuff, how she can turn like incorporeal. Essentially, you can't really hit her unless she doesn't react to it at the right time, right? Like, the whole thing is that she has like invulnerability because she can just turn into smoke. She's like a vampire. So I don't know how powerful she is. This is her first showing of how strong, I guess, she actually is in the lore. But this is also characterizations of her power that we haven't really been told before. Also, this scene, Thrall is backlit with a dim lit face because all of the sun is up here, but it shadows his face because that's a dread oriented. It shadows the less important character in a two-take because Varrock is very much in the light in this one because this is his last moment. So you light the character.
We don't get to hide.
Look at the stubble on this boy's face. What the hell? And why can't Blizzard make their own frickin' movie?
I set you on this path.
And we knew where it could lead.
Dang
Walk
it.
with me the rest of the way.
The walk with me is so good. Yeah, that peach fuzz is so, man. He's a man now. Not a boy, he's a man. Where's the beard at? If that's a man, where's the beard? All right, I didn't get a beard until I have mostly a beard right now. Still working on the mustache. But you tell me if I'm a man yet. I'm 34 years old, going on 89, and I got no good beard. Am I a man yet? Where's the beard? Photoshop a beard on this man. Beard doing soon? I need an actual Blizzard-made CGI Warcraft movie. I know. Fuzzy-faced Manduin. Seriously. Also, holy crap, this armor. My good gleeful glob. Look at this flippin'. Damn it. The production value that the cinematics department does at Blizzard is... I don't know if any other company does cinematics as good. Good gosh. Oh, wait. In 9.0, we have a 10-year skip to the future, and there is your beard. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Good golly, so good. Yeah, okay. I'll give Square Enix. There you go. Square Enix is pretty good stuff. The fact that he gives Charlemagne to Varrock to wield is pretty poggers. That's really, really crazy that he gives this. Oh my gosh. Riot cinematics are also very good, but they're not like in-game oriented style. They're always like skin trailers and things of that nature. We just watched the new Star Guardian one the other day, which is awesome, but it's all like their side story stuff, whereas the WoW ones are essentially all stitchable together into an actual feature-length film. That's what I mean. But yes. Varrock's basically using an axe similar to Durotian's and Varian's sword. Yeah. You tell me what other honorable character is worthy. This is all a Thor callback? What? A Thor callback? Yeah, Anduin is literally giving Saurfang his power. Look at his his eyes, though. He's actually kind of overwhelmed by it. Look at his brow furls up. There's a lot said in that one line. Granted, it's a tiny sword comparatively to an orc weapon. Zakan, protect this boy. Thrall's protecting that boy. Thrall gets a +1. Thumbs up on Thrall. Protect that boy. Can we get some protect that boy in chat? Oh no. Yeah, I don't know why. I'll have to get Nobble's take on why Sylvanas is suddenly so powerful. What he knows. I'll have to listen to Nobble's stuff. Man, the background set drop, even like there's embroidery on the leather on the straps of his boots. Look at this. Can we zoom and enhance cliche real quick? Hold on. I don't know if I can zoom and enhance cliche on this. I cannot. I want to, but post-cinematic Zakan goes to the orphanage. I suppose he lost his adopted dad. Come on.
Let it be finished.
Wait. Where's Drenosh? Hold on.
Rise up, sons of the Horde! Blood and glory await us!
Hold on. We're getting it. Maybe. YouTube hates me right now. It just doesn't want to play.
Of fear.
Enough talk! Let it be finished!
So that's Drenosh. That's his son. To Arthas. YouTube, what are you doing? Come on. All right, well, you know what happens. Freaking... What the heck? Saurfang just wants it to be finished, to be honest. Well, yeah, sure. That's fine. But the shot is also... It's the same side of the frame. It's the same thing. That's why I wanted to bring that up. It's left to right of frame. The dead person, the aspect of death in this frame being Sylvanas, the aspect of death in the previous one at the Wrathgate being Arthas. Both Saurfangs want it to be finished. The angle of Orgrimmar and Wrathgate, back-to-back shots of Lich King and Sylvanas. Yeah, both Saurfangs want... No, come on. This isn't an accident. Oh, of course it's not an accident. I know, it's just totally chosen.
Let it be finished.
But there's a difference in testosterone or whatever drives orcs. Driven orcish rage back then in the younger generation. Screaming and yelling, let it be finished. Enough talk, let it be finished. I actually made that GIF. So there is a GIF out there now, let it be finished, with the text that pops up. Yeah, right here, enough talk. I made this. Yeah. It's like it's a perfect loop when it's online. It loops here because it stalls on the end frame. But yeah, I cut and edited it with the push on his face. Yeah. But there's a quite different push there compared to how long Varrock's been around, and it's just like a somber. Almost like under his breath. This is a very Thanos Captain America moment. That's what I first thought of when Cap grabs the Infinity Gauntlet and the Infinity Stones gems basically say like, yeah, okay, you're worthy. We'll channel some of our power into you or something. And Thanos was like, pardon? I think this is one part that we weren't expecting. And even Sylvanas right now, because something happened to her that we don't know about. Because she was fighting Gen, and Gen basically could have won. They may have both killed each other, but Gen could have kicked her ass last expansion. So in the span of whatever time frame has happened here, something has definitely changed in Sylvanas. I know, look at this freaking smile, though. If this is going to be turned into a meme. Is this face right here? This is just like a, So, yeah, Gen didn't have, they didn't have grenades. She was going to do this regardless. Yeah. Gen should have killed her. Yeah. We'll see. I know there's a little more in the game for sure. Yeah. There are already GIFs of this block. Oh gosh. I'm sure there are. Watch the swing they animated here. Look at the pressure that Varrock exhumes that Sylvanas immediately dissipates with barely anything. Sylvanas has been feeding death, and it has made her stronger. She is powering herself up to beat death, which is one thing she fears. The way to guarantee she never goes to oblivion is to become the master of death itself. Yeah, sure. That's fair. Again, she has a bit of a Thanos complex, but not like half and half, reset everything. She has the full Thanos complex. Yeah, he sort of feints with the sword and goes for the axe. Does he actually? I mean, look. Oh, he totally does. Look at the sword feint with Charlemagne.
Let it be finished.
She is not even phased. Look at the power. It's hard to see again because the frame by frames in YouTube is very compressed. Like the motion blur is just absolutely out of this world right here because it's so crushed into what YouTube's max bitrate is so garbage. But she doesn't even move. All she does is position herself and totally blocks. And this is how many frames is this move? That's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 to impact. 11 frames. So less than a half of a second does she react to that. I mean, the way it's animated anyway. Boom. That freaking eyes. And then the reaction on Saurfang's face when he hits with all of his old orc might. And this is a huge shot. This is a little bit of a Dutch angle. Looking up at your characters, giving them more weight and size in the frame. normally used to make villains look bigger, but in this case, Varrock takes up way more of the frame than Sylvanas does. But that's the this juxtaposition here in this camera turn. Also, little things of lighting. Behind Sylvanas, the actual light is not really shining on the Orgrimmar gate, whereas behind Varrock, the entire scene is brightly lit when you switch over here. Very, very noticeable lighting choices between these two frames to show a bit of it. You see light coming from the side of the frame that Varrock is on in this one, but once it gets to Sylvanas, you do see how it does shadow, and there is, even though the gate should be lit, the sun is, you know, right there. It should be light in the gate, but the gate is definitely not very lit to show that continual darkness. And then you push in that slow dolly push to Varrock, recoiling. First two cuts. She has the very elven flutteriness about her that we've seen in a lot of how fantasy elves fight. Again, another block. 2 hits. I think he just cut his back of his thigh, I think, right there. Yeah, gut and back of his right thigh. That's a fatal wound right there. But the way that Sylvanas poises herself, I wonder if they did choreography. Also, I didn't notice this at first, but watch. Once the first hit happens, there's music and there's ambiance and sound effects, but listen.
Let it be finished.
Silence, yeah. And the score comes back in when Saurfang's on his ground. Listen, also, I just heard this time. When he swings Charlemagne in this scene. Here, he's going to swing Charlemagne. Listen to the actual sound effect of what Charlemagne sounds like, even wielded by Varrock. You hear that, like, that whong, that like sound we've heard before when Charlemagne gets you. It's that like holy orb flowing noise. Yeah, notice the void effects on her weapons. Again, I don't think it's void in the sense that she's twisted it, but it has to be like undeath or death. Yeah, the sword whistle. Yeah, they can't be void because, again, well, she could be using void, but anyway. The sound effects are so good. Oh my gosh. The more and more that I look at cinematic stuff and the more I've like watched different shows and movies and things, even recently I was watching The Dark Crystal on Netflix. Even if like my director producer brain and my appreciation for cinematography, lighting, gaffing, the director's vision, the DP's framing, all of that would be so poo-poo without how good the sound effects are. Good grief.
The High Overlord.
One thing you watch, look at the wound, like almost cauterizes, but then starts to like fester because we get a while to like watch this magic, this like death ick creep into Varrock's brow here. Yeah, it's like necrotic. Yeah, see?
I trusted you.
God, her freaking mouth.
I trusted you.
Oh my good gracious, man. The delivery on that scene right there.
I trusted you. And so did they. Death comes, old soldier. And all their hope dies with you.
Save this boy!
You cannot kill hope. You tried at Teldrassil. You failed. Hope remains. You You set us to kill each other at law.
Look, watch her face change. Like this is now a battle of intellects. It's a battle of words right here, right? The change of his face, knowing what's going to happen, to the resolution that he knows what he has to do and what he has to say.
You cannot kill hope.
Kind of Star Wars-ish, but
you failed. Hope remains.
She's smiling at the whole Theydrin thing because she's like, ha, stupid elves. She burned down the tree. But then the next lines change her actual demeanor, though.
You set us to kill each other at Lordaeron. You failed. Here we stand. You just keep failing. The Horde will endure. The Horde is strong.
Oh, the crescendo of Charlemagne there. Do you hear that?
Will endure. The Horde is strong.
The Horde!
Keep failing. The Horde will endure. The Horde.
The fact that she still holds back this swing is, again, I need to know why the heck she's so strong. Because I don't know. Good gracious. It's so crazy. At that moment, Fury Warriors cried out in anguish. Why? Yeah, this is with Anduin's sword. This is all with Charlemagne. I mean, Varian's sword. Yeah, her upper lip, like, curdled right there. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Strong.
I need it frame by frame, the pushback there. And also I want to frame by frame the sword cutaway, because they hide the cutaway in the blast of light. Okay. Actually, no, they hide the transformation in the blast of light. Gotcha. But you see, oh, Elidis, hi. That is a scene right there. That is how Varrock will be remembered. But yeah, look at the cut is like icking in his head. It's like bleh. But this scene right here, when they get her hair to move, that's definitely that Banshee motif right there, right? It's that Banshee feel. And we have the reveal of Charlemagne splitting. I don't know how Charlemagne splits or what kind of like sentience it has. Also, Train, hi! I don't know how Charlemagne does this, or what it has to do, or this very like kind of Mjolnir sort of you're worthy kind of thing. But it depends on who it deems worthy. That's what I thought. Yeah, quote unquote magic. Exactly. Yeah, just the magic elven blades. Mm-hmm. I don't know how or why or what has to be done. I can't think of anything as iconic as Charlemagne other than Broxigar's axe. Yeah, sure. I think there is a few weapons that come to mind, but that definitely is one of them. Because obviously the light that's imbued in Charlemagne is sort of the whole part of this, because Varrock is using a light-bound weapon.
The Horde is nothing.
We don't know how... This is the first time we've seen Sylvanas wounded in a long time. Granted, the whole, like, slicing eye cliche. How close do they actually get to... Where do they animate that? Let me see. Because she's right there, but it cuts her eye, but doesn't cut her... There's a deflect. It actually pulled her arm down and moved her shoulder, and the second hit, which actually is how orcs attack with two-handed weapons. They swing them both the same direction, actually. But it doesn't cut her eyelash, because that would... Or her eyebrow, really, but it just cuts her, like, cheek into her eye.
The Horde is nothing.
Yeah. The tip of the sword just caught her. Again, because it's a small sword being wielded by a very large orc. That is probably the most powerful scene in this entire thing. Listen to the music in the background that they've done in this.
blood is nothing!
Is that the Undercity theme? It just slowly creeps in there when the Forsaken Banner Lady looks over at her. Also, again, why is Sylvanas' internals all red and goopy looking? Yeah, Sylvanas does kind of look like she regrets that, and now she has to go through with the rest of it. But man. Ah!
Is nothing!
Because she's dead? Like Deathwing. That is kind of true. Deathwing's all goopy internals were very,
You are all nothing!
For Azeroth!
That's his superhero moment. You see his ears perk? His ears even perked. Hang on, I gotta... Because this shot is so fast. This is the villain moment where she has to realize what she must do to move on to get past this ridiculousness. That is so few frames. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's Banshee magic. Like the gooey, smoky, cloudy stuff is Banshee magic, but that is some pure death in there. Doesn't Helia have spell effects that look like this? Little Emperor Palpatine face going on right now. He lost the battle, but won so much more. Would have rather had the Banshee scream, kill him. No, the beam is crazy, though. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Sylvanas needs to always be the winner. It's what gets her in the end, yeah. Those teeth, though. She aligned with death. You will still need to watch the Loyalist cutscene. I know I do. We're trying to get to that a little bit. Banshee shoots swirly purple lines in game. The Banshees do. Right. It's death magic. I don't think it's Old God. Again, the Void and Death are different. The Void and Death are different. The how stuff comes out of her sleeves. Oh, it kind of does. Well, like it swirls around her arms completely, right? That's crazy how they just they made the 3D object just on that frame because it's so few frames. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 frames out of 30. It's it's like a fourth of a second that actually renders. That is some Banshee face. But yeah, has Sylvanas always had red eyes? Her eye color hasn't changed, right? And see, it's a ball. It wasn't a beam. It's a ball. It was not a beam. The crane pull out with the action there because we're zoomed in and the crane pulls out to show the explosion. Pretty awesome cloud and debris layering simulation there. You got a light simulation in the middle. There's probably, I don't even know how many layers in this shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The particular layer and the different lighting and the spectral stuff in the middle. There's probably 10 to 12 layers in this shot because of the different cloud pattern. Well, the clouds could be just 3 different simulations put on top of each other with their pushing point right at the middle. But also you see how it clings to his body. It kind of makes like a skeleton pattern when you see it go away like this. That's obviously part of how his armor is shiny. Also, Sylvanas isn't even moving when it pulls out. You notice that? Look at her. She does not even move. She's right there, right in front of my finger, right there. Straight ahead in the middle. She's not even moving. Dang. necromancer stuff confirmed.
If you could see yourself.
Akuma's Hadouken.
Toy soldiers in tin plate.
Toy soldiers in tin plate.
Beasts who howl for honor.
You even see her tongue flick in her mouth, because when you say the word honor, your tongue comes off the roof of your mouth. Well, in English anyway. Honor. To make the ner sound. Honor. You even see the tongue flick.
Beasts who howl for honor. Standing as one. Savor it. Nothing lasts.
I love the render they put on this because they had to make what this effect would look like on the ground because you could see the streaks in the rock bed from the force of the explosion that just hit him. But again, it's just death magic. There's no damage to him or his armor or anything. He looks totally fine. There's nothing, there's no scorch marks or anything. It's just like an Avada Kedavra. Yeah, Team Rocket blasting off again! Yeah. It's not like, it's likely that none of that power is her own, probably channeling whatever death god she served, which will explain why Jaina and Thalyssra couldn't sense her power. In the end, he exposed her in front of everyone and forced her out. He wanted his warrior's death, and he finally got it. To me, it's Sarafang who truly won this battle. Rest in peace, my boy. Aww. The necklace and skin color are the only thing affected. Yeah, the necklace has... I don't know. I think that's just the fire marks from when he put in the fire in the other cinematic. Yeah, his skin is just... Because see, his face is sort of like crumpled in and decayed. Like it almost like pulled all the life out of him. He gets paler. He's not as green. Granted, we're in the Barrens, so everything is just brown right now, but we have that. When your hydration leaves your body, it gets all shrivelly. It pulls in on itself because it's no longer hydrated and plumpy. Now there are tears in my king's eyes. There is, oh my gosh. There is one. He's got his eye line watery. Oh my gosh. Res him, Anduin. But Anduin's thing in the opening cinematic is not a res. It was a heal, most likely, in that sense. It was like a heal power word barrier kind of situation. The only time in the lore we have seen someone actually resurrected is actually Jaina in War Crimes. Because Jaina straight up dies in War Crimes. And it takes the August Celestials, sort of, and Anduin to resurrect her. Yeah, Chi-Ji is kind of like he helps, but not helps because he's an asshole. So resurrecting in the lore is not what it's like in the game for us. He looks like Chris Metzen. This scene is amazing. Shout out to whoever in the writing room thought of this sequence. It gets louder as they actually walk through the gates. Obviously, the lighting changes and stuff like that. Sakan looks very sad. Anduin looks... I mean, he's just... I think he knows what has happened. He knew it was going to happen. Thrall's face is what gets me. This face... What does that face mean? Yeah, Thrall's pissed. Yeah, he's trying to hold it back in. Yeah, Zakan's trying to be strong. Anduin's been sorrow. Now he's like, I'm a effing murder this banshee. Thrall is angry, sad. Sadgry, determined AF. It's the face of I'm gonna be a war chief again. I don't know. That's the question that we have to figure out next, but... That face says no more hiding. Well, no more hiding, but we don't know where she is. We don't know where she went. Grim determination and also trying not to snap some undead Banshee Queen. Yeah. We should appreciate the fact that Varrock was smiling before the final. He was. When he said for Azeroth, he was smiling, yes. Or he was going to smile. All right, let's wrap up this quest because we need to get the rest of this sorted. This is the new map, obviously, for this. So let's go find... They're on this side of the gate. Zappy Boy looks so distraught. For all is legit angry. He's gonna be like, F this lady. I'm gonna hunt her down and dismember her. I don't know if anyone can beat her one-on-one anymore. So now we have to see where the story goes. I think Thrall will be War Chief. It's written in Saurfang's last words to him. We don't get to hide. Yeah. Oh, look, the Worgen boys and girls. They're so cute now. Rah. Are they all the same? They're all the same. Her lips actually move and they're not painted. There are teeth there. Look at these good pups. Look at these good pups. Look at these pups. I'm not really much of a dog guy, but werewolves are cool. Look at those pups. Look at them pups. Tink. Think Bane will be War Chief, to be honest. We'll see. Oh, what's up, Darius? Oh, and freaking Lorna.
Make it quick.
What's up, girl?
Hail, champion.
Saurfang challenged Sylvanas to Mot Gara, and then ...
We will have justice for the fallen. Saurfang is dead, and Sylvanas has escaped. This is no victory. I care not who leads the Horde, or if they tear each other apart. All that matters is slaying the Banshee, and we have missed our chance.
Gen is definitely grumpy dog. Check the video of N'Zoth. It's the same as what Sylvanas used in the Mot Gara. Again, we know Sylvanas had Xal'atath. We know that Nathanos has Xal'atath now. The void magic that Sylvanas could be employing is definitely a thing. Again, very, very clear. The void and death are two different things. Sylvanas is not all old god voidy. That doesn't make any sense. The void and the old gods and death are enemies. They are not allies. They are two very different things. The void consumes all to amalgamate it, to control it, to Borgify it, if you will. Death destroys all. There's nothing left if death wins for the void to consume. They are different entities. We don't know if Sylvanas is using something to her will, but yeah, the void even sees death as the ultimate evil. Void is one with nothingness. Death is all is nothing. Yeah, the void is basically the Borg. I use that as a lot. Yeah. Correct. There is a player in this game that we don't know about. They have been pulling the strings since Cataclysm. I don't know. Well, we have Wrathion stuff coming in the patches here, so we'll find out. The Loyalist epilogue even explains that Sylvanas is not working with N'Zoth. She remarks that even N'Zoth will serve death in the end. Sylvanas made a deal with Azshara. They both knew that they would be stacking bodies. Yeah, we'll try to get to that in a little bit. I'm going to go right to the Horde epilogue as well. I have that pulled up over here. The Horde epilogue, I have both of them pulled up. Many have lost their lives in this war. Let us hope Saurfang is the last. And no matter what doubts he harbored, Saurfang was an honorable soldier. He prevented both a civil war within the Horde and the potential destruction of the Alliance. He brought an end to Sylvanas' reign and saved many lives at the cost of his own. We shall honor his sacrifice. Ah, this is the title of Veteran of the Fourth War.
We cannot let the world fall to darkness.
We will withdraw our forces from Durotar. Our purpose was to defeat Sylvanas. Though she yet lives, she no longer leads the Horde. Hopefully, we can now unite against N'Zoth. King Anduin has asked us to join him in honoring Saurfang. Against N'Zoth, we're getting Ny'alotha in 8.3. How much you want to bet? Lead on.
I will never forget.
Alliance epilogue. Let's go.
Varrock Saurfang, son of Koruk, supreme commander of the might of Kalimdor, high overlord of the Horde. He led the charge against the Lich King. He defended our world from the Legion. Saurfang inspired all of us to strive for true honor. And his legacy will live on in our deeds.
When the Alliance and Horde marched on Ahn'Qiraj, it was Saurfang who valiantly commanded our combined forces.
Is that Garona?
Today, his courage saved thousands of lives on both sides of the battle. His sacrifice will never be forgotten.
You have earned your warrior's death, old friend. Now, greet your son with honor and glory.
I'm so cute. I know. I have the Loyalist cutscene pulled up over here. I'm gonna grab it right now.
What would you ask the daughter of the sea?
We continue to fall into old habits of mistrust and suspicion, of betrayed and of hatred and war, and yet we also find ourselves banding together and rising against the forces that will destroy our world. I pray that the day will come when we break the cycle for good.
This is how war always ends for us. With blood on our hands, mourning those we lost. No amount of fighting can ever bring them back. The cycle ends when we choose to walk away. I wasn't ready to learn that lesson before. Few may be ready now, but learn it we must.
Alright, Borealis music is too crazy. Let me swap real quick. We're still sort of in the whole cinematic bit here. Let me grab this.
Ah, champion. I wasn't certain you made it out of Orgrimmar. If the traitors knew of your service to me, they'd have put you in irons. Or worse. Saurfang's ill-considered challenge may have ended the war prematurely, but it doesn't matter now. Countless souls have been fed to the hungering darkness. Though I cared nothing for the living, I did pity the Forsaken, for the great injustice that made them what they are. I understand the cruelty of fate better than anyone. But despite all I taught them, they stubbornly clung to hope, to life. They will learn the truth, along with all the rest. My bargain with Azara will yet bear fruit. The armies of Azeroth will fight her master, and he will line their streets with corpses. In the end, he too will serve death. Enough reflection. There are preparations to be made. Nothing lasts. When next you see me, you will understand.
Hmm. 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 Oh boy.